This is the Process Shot. I'm Michael. I'm looking for any stereo systems around this theater. And I also need to look out for the soundtrack to Running Scared, the 1986 buddy cop action comedy movie that I've just seen. Directed by Peter Hyams and starring Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, the film follows their time as officers in the Chicago PD and their attempts to nail an up-and-coming drug lord. Going against the book, they end up on a forced vacation in Key West, during which they decide to retire early upon their return and open a bar instead. Coming back to Chicago, however, they end up right back where they were when they learn the drug lord has made bail and is back on the streets. The overarching story of Running Scared is more or less the standard framework for any action movie, being a power balance between the good guys and the bad guys, while the good guys try to balance their own lives on the side. All the major story beats are hit, with enough variance to make for an original story, of course. But if you've seen other action movies in the past, then you'll have an idea of how this one will go. So what gives Running Scared an appeal that separates it from others? The leading characters, of course, and it's through Crystal and Hines that much of the film is carried. Their chemistry shines from the film's first scenes, and it's only made more and more apparent how close they are as friends as the story continues. It's not something that comes through as forced either. Their friendship is completely natural, if supported at times by a seemingly too well-scripted banter. Regardless, they are pretty much the epitome of a true buddy-cop dynamic, being more buddy than cop. As for the rest of the relationships, they're much less developed, falling back on genre standards. Crystal's character has an ex-wife for whom he still has feelings. Hines has an on-and-off-again girlfriend. Both are being browbeaten by a standoffish captain, and to add insult to injury, they have to train some inefficient rookies. They all serve to hit the usual story beats in an action movie like this, and so they're effective in that regard, bolstered for the most part by Crystal and Hines. The rest of the film's elements similarly fall into genre conventions, using tight cinematography and rapid editing in action sequences to create confusion while staying flatter elsewhere. There's a nice and varied usage of the Chicago area throughout Running Scared, touching upon various locations from run-down apartments to a large city center, and even the subway system. And the film's soundtrack is pretty great, being primarily synth-driven, but that's more of a personal opinion, I suppose. Ultimately, Running Scared is pretty much a standard action film, held up by the buddy cop dynamic between Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. But rather than carry the movie alone, their characters almost seem to inform the film, as if just by being there, they are able to reshape the genre standards from something generic into something more creative, and by doing so, making the film one of the better examples of a buddy cop action comedy film. I mean, I haven't really seen too many, so I could be talking out of my butt. But still, it's a good movie. Running Scared. Peter Hyams, 1986. 4 stars. I'd recommend seeing this. Makes for a good late night watch. And that's the end of the review. You know the drill. Leave a like or a comment if you want, and be sure to subscribe if you want to see more reviews. Or don't subscribe. I won't mind. At least you made it this far.